Hey, good morning. I am Michael LeBlanc, owner of Create with Consciousness, and welcome to today's Divine Dirt Inspirations. Divine Dirt Inspirations, just a little FYI, it's all based off of my new book, Divine Dirt. Today, I wanted to share around this question, and the question is also the title of the chapter. And it's called, Are You Aligned with Your Divine Self? And what I want to talk about today is how each moment of every day we are really designed to know is the way I'm focused on life and thinking about life, whether it's myself, others, my business, relationships, finances, whatever that is, whatever the topic is. Am I focused the same way my divine self is focused? And so I wanted to talk about that today. So are you aligned with your divine self is today's chapter. So the other day, I was sitting at my desk and really just having a good day. I'm focused, feeling pretty centered and connected. And then about 5 minutes later, I notice I'm feeling more anxious, worried, right? And it's like, well, what the hell? I was just sitting on the same desk. I'm focused on the same task, but now I've gone from feeling really good to feeling anxious. And it was just sort of a, well, what's going on? And so here's what I know, and here's what the chapter kind of focuses on today, is that feeling of anxiety, that feeling of fear that crept in means in some form or fashion, my focus shifted to the lack of something in my life. It's shifted to something I'm not wanting versus what I am wanting. And when I paid attention to, like, well, what was I just thinking about? What I noticed was my focus had shifted away into kind of lack and some finances that aren't the way I want them, and some level of my business that wasn't the way I wanted. And my focus had literally, while I was still working on my task, had drifted over into this area of lack. And so because I drifted off of the way my divine self knows my life to be, that emotion of fear, that emotion of anxiety is what occurred. And what I know, and this is all based off of Esther Hicks's teachings that I've been studying for years, that just resonate with me, is because I am an expression of Source. I am Source expressing as Michael. You are the divine expressing as you. That I'm always connected. There's always a connection there. And so when my focus and thinking and the way I'm viewing life for myself is in alignment, I will feel the alignment of it, and the alignment of it feels as in the range of positive emotions, right? The more aligned, the more positive. When, like I was sitting at my desk and I start focusing on lack in my life, the negative feeling is the way my divine self lets me know moment by moment, Michael, your focus is no longer aligning with what's divinely known and true for you. You are starting to view lack. You're starting to look at what's not. And because of that, that negative feeling is the way the Source, the divine of me, lets me know I'm no longer in alignment. So it really isn't about the thing out there. It's about, am I aligned or not aligned? And my emotions are with me all day long, every day. Sometimes we want that, and sometimes we wish it wasn't that way, but it is that way. But it really is. It's my divine nature always letting me know, moment by moment, hey, am I in alignment? What's true about life and my life and life in general? Or am I focusing and thinking in a way that's off from what is inherently and divinely true? And if I start focusing and thinking in a way that's off, negative emotions are designed to kick in. because negative emotions are always letting me know my focus is no longer in alignment with my divine self. So what do you do with that, right? So first off, here's what I do. So I was sitting at my desk, like I said. My day's good. I feel centered. I feel connected. I'm feeling really good about life, and I'm focusing on a task. And then just really 5 minutes later, it feels not like that. Try not to curse. And it's like I'm feeling fear, I'm feeling anxiety. And when I looked into it, it's like, well, what shifted? My focus had shifted. I just started focusing on the lack of my finances, the lack of business that weren't quite where I want them to be. And that kicked in the fear and the worry. But the fear and the worry, just like I mentioned, means, hey, your focus is not in alignment anymore with your divine self. So here's a couple of things I did. One is I stopped. I was like, well, I don't want to spend the next 15, 20 minutes, whatever it's going to be, worrying. It's like I have worried plenty in my life, and I've realized it doesn't do anything. So I decided, one, I'm going to pause. I took 5 minutes. I set a timer on my phone, and I made myself reach and think and focus, well, how does my divine self know? What does my divine self know to be true about my finances? What does my divine self know to be true about my business? And I made myself, for 5 minutes, that's the only thing I was allowed to think and focus on. So literally what I did when I noticed I was starting to feel fear, noticed I was starting to feel anxious, is I stopped my day. It's not always possible, but it was in that moment. I literally set a 5-minute timer, and I made an agreement with myself that, hey, I'm only going to think about my life from the perspective of the divine, right? That's it. That's all that was allowed. The other thing I did, though, when I first started, I set the timer, and then I appreciated just the negative feeling. If you're like me, sometimes you can dislike negative feelings, or you can even get upset with yourself for having negative feelings, which just adds to it. So when you remember what a negative feeling is, the negative feeling it's the divine letting you know, hey, your focus has just gotten off center. You're no longer thinking about your life and knowing your life, or thinking about the world, or thinking about someone else in a way that the divine you thinks about it, focuses on it. And that's all the negative feeling means. So first, I just appreciated my fear and anxiety, because it was my indicator that I was off. So I've been really trying to appreciate when I feel negative, because it's letting me know. It's letting me know in this moment in time, you have shifted your focus, and usually it's towards the lack of something, or towards what you don't want, versus what is true about you and your life, or what you do want. So in that 5 minutes, I set my timer. I appreciated my negative feelings for letting me know my focus had shifted, and then I really did. I just made an agreement to only focus and think and reach for thoughts that my divine self knows to be true about my finances and my business, because that's where I was off. And 5 minutes later, I felt great again. Because my focus had, on purpose, I deliberately shifted it back to what was inherently true. I didn't let it just go on that trail with the negative thinking and just uninterrupted. I deliberately decided to shift it. And so today on Are You Aligned with Your Divine Self? Your emotions, we are wired to have them. And I grew up just feeling, feelings were just things that occurred. You're kind of a victim to them, basically, right? It's like if something good in your life has gone on, that, then you feel good about it. If there's something bad, you feel bad about it, and that's just how that works. And that's really not the case. Your feelings are from the divine you, and you have a relationship with it in every moment and every day because you are an expression of it. In my book, Manifest a Better Life with God, I talk about it from the perspective of a wave in the ocean. You are the wave, but you are always being sourced by that ocean, and your feelings are always letting you know, moment by moment, is the way I'm focused on anything in alignment or not. And if it is, I'm going to feel the positivity of that. If my focus is shifting in a way that my divine self knows that's not really the truth of things, I'll feel the offness. But the offness isn't from out there. The offness is from my perspective, and the source of me's perspective are now off. And I'm feeling the offness, and offness registers as a negative emotion. The more off, the more negative. Slightly off, slightly negative, right? The more in alignment, slightly positive. The more true alignment, the more extremely positive. And so I just wanted to share that from a perspective of just a little bit of a nuance on what our feelings really mean, at least based on what I believe, and how I grew up with a chronic state of worry. It just was always in the background. And so interrupting that is essential. Because if I don't, then it's just going to go. And it's my job to notice it, to realize, one, that means I'm focused differently than my divine self. And two, I can do something about that. I don't need anything in my life to change to feel better. I don't. We would maybe want things to change. We wish things might change. But what I can always change, no matter where I am, no matter what's going on around me, is where am I focused? How am I focused? What thoughts am I thinking? Your feelings will always follow your focus. And when you and your divine self are in alignment, and your focus is on that, and you're thinking thoughts that are in alignment, you'll feel the positivity of it. All right? So notice in your day, right? If you're feeling good right now, great. Sometimes that happens to me like 30 minutes from now, that might not be the case. And sometimes it could be you read an email, right? Sometimes it could be you just, in your head, you went somewhere else, and now you're focused on the lack of something in your life, or the lack of, or you're starting to worry about somebody else. And all that means is you're not seeing the divine in them anymore. So notice if you start feeling negative, put the brakes on. I just set a 5-minute timer, and I was like, all right, so for the next 5 minutes, I'm only thinking and reaching for thoughts my divine self knows to be true. And I just kept reaching for one. One thought was, well, nothing bad right now is going on. Nothing. And so, and it's like, and I reached for another one, and another thought came, and another thought came. And then 5 minutes later, I felt good again. So, and it was worth the 5 minutes. It was worth the 5 minutes to interrupt the worry and the fear, right? So wherever you start venturing off and being negative, one, just bless the negative. It's just the source of you letting you know your focus is shifting. You don't have to feel positive. You can stay negative. It's fine. True story. When my mom passed away, yeah, I was sad. I was in grief. A good year I was in a funk, and it was okay. That was fine, right? But the truth was still, my sadness came when I would focus on the absence of her. As I began to just remember what I loved about her, the presence of her, that sadness, that grief sort of started fading. And I was able to get my focus back, because my divine self knows my mom still is. My mom still, is well, and her presence and consciousness is. And so really it was still the same teaching, but there's nothing wrong with feeling negative, and just know negative's just letting you know your focus somewhere in some way has shifted away from what your divine self knows to be true. And like I said, you think of the ocean and the wave. You're the wave. but the ocean is sourcing you, and the ocean is always connected to you, and there's nothing you can do to ever stop that connection. And so you always have feelings to let you know, moment by moment, am I or am I not? And if you're not, maybe you're mad about something, and maybe you're justified to be mad about something. So fine, go ahead. But just know, in your moment of anger, you're still not aligned, right? You can stay there, but you're still not aligned. When you get fed up with it, you're tired of being angry, you can bring yourself back, all right? So I appreciate you tuning in today. I see a few of you out there. Please say hello and leave some comments for me and let me know. If you have some thoughts, questions, let me know that as well. Again, today's Divine Dirt is the chapter called, I'm not on the right page anymore. Are you aligned with your divine self? So, again, I'm Michael LeBlanc. So my company is Create with Consciousness. My work is all about we are divine beings. There are ways to connect with that. One of my coachings I offer is called Divine Self-Alignment Coaching. And it's these brief 15, 20 minutes. And the only thing when people get on the call with me, we do it virtually, is you're only allowed to think from your divine self when we're on that call. And it's really fun, but it's beautiful to watch just in 15 minutes how you can shift yourself and get refocused. So that's kind of fun. A couple of things just coming up that I wanted to share. So if you want to reach me, you can reach me at michael@createwithconsciousness.com. You go to my website, createwithconsciousness.com. I do have a master class coming up. It's an 8-week class where we dive into manifest a better life with God. And we really kind of take each chapter. But the beauty of this is I weave in experiences. So there's always guided meditations. We practice centering prayer in these. We do a kind of a group divine consciousness, hold one person in our consciousness and seeing their prayer answered. And really, I would say in a nutshell, a lot of the teachings behind this are, one, understanding you are the divine. The divine made a decision to be you. So you just should deal with that, right? You're a big deal, deal with that. But with that comes this innate power source ability to use that to manifest your life in a much easier way than the world seems to go about it. And so we dive into all that in the master class. Again, there's workbooks, there's exercises, there's experiences, and the feedback's been really pretty beautiful, just the way people's lives were shifted and are shifted from it. So it's going to start off on September 30th. If you're interested, just leave me a message and I'll send you the link about it, or I'll put the link in there in a little bit. What else is coming up? I started a new membership. If you're interested, every 3 weeks we get a group together. We practice centering prayer. We chew on some of the teachings around the books. And how do you manifest your life using your divine self? We do a couple of other experiences in there. And every 3 weeks, we just sort of get together. And it's just a way to keep you on track, to keep you aligned, to keep you moving forward, right? So if you're interested in that, let me know also. I just took a breath, which made me remember my shirt today is breathe and take your next step. If you're interested in any of these, they're at divinedirt.net. All right. You have a wonderful day. You really are the divine that decided to be you. You are an important perspective. You have an important contribution. You are a wave connected to the ocean all times. And your feelings are always letting you know if you are connected or not, or if you're aligned or not. Have a blessed day. I will talk to you soon. Love you. Bye.